This hearing of the Minnesota Senate Taxes Committee will come to order. It is February 12th, 2025, 8:34 a.m. A quorum is present. Members have the minutes from Thursday, February 6th, 2025. That'll be a correction. Are there any other corrections or additions? Seeing none, the minutes are approved as presented. The first bill on our agenda, Senator Kunesh, Senate File 195. Welcome to the committee. Senator Kunesh, if find that here.
Everything was in there. It's right there.
No, that's his copy. Welcome to the committee. Senator Kunesh, if you would, there's one section to your bill. If you would just explain the language in your bill, we'll hear from your testifier, and you can be on your way.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Madam Chair and members of the
Kunesh has her own committee to chair at this time, so we're letting her go first.
Appreciate that so much. So, members of the Tax Committee, I'm presenting to you Senate File 195. It's a bill for a sales tax exemption on construction materials for the city of Columbia Heights. I'll start by going through the bill a little bit, and then I have the city manager, Aaron Chirpich, here to testify on behalf of the city. If you look at Section 1, Subdivision A of the bill exempts the materials and supplies used in the construction of the Columbia Heights City Hall from sales taxes that were purchased between August 31st of 2021 and April 1st of 2024. That Subdivision 1B provides that the funds would be issued as a refund to the city. When we were here last year and testified, we shared that the city had run an analysis that determined that a previous city hall building was deteriorating and needed significant reinvestment. It was determined to be more cost efficient in the long term to build a new city hall so that the city could adequately serve its residents. We greatly appreciate you hearing this bill, which would reduce the financial impact of this essential infrastructure on the community through good tax policy. I hope you all will take this under consideration as the city's request, and I'll now turn it over to my testifier, City Manager Chirpich.
Thank you. Any questions for Senator Kunesh? Seeing none, thank you, Senator Kunesh, and we'll move to testimony from Mr. Chirpich, is it?
Chirpich.
Yeah, Chirpich.
Thank you.
The City Manager of Columbia Heights, welcome to the committee. If you'd identify yourself for the record, we'll hear your testimony.
Absolutely. Thank you. Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the committee.
And if you would bring the mic, they're
Okay.
not long.
Yeah.
You need to move toward them as well as
Our
getting
brand new
it
city
as
hall
close to you
suffers
as
from
you
the
can.
same
Thank you.
problem. So thank you. Well, good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. I'm Aaron Chirpich, City Manager for the City of Columbia Heights. I want to thank Madam Chair for the opportunity to testify in support of Senate File 195. I'd also like to thank Senator Kunesh for authoring the bill and for your ongoing support of our city. The city is requesting a sales tax exemption for construction materials for our new city hall. As previously mentioned, the building was severely needed for the community to allow us to adequately serve our residents and improve accessibility. It's in the heart of our city where the people are. Though we've been proactive in planning for this expense and efficient in our use of building space and other cost-saving measures, it's actually a pretty cutting-edge design, a vertical mixed-use arrangement where the city hall is on the main floor with apartments above it and actually a bank next door to us. Despite those cost-saving measures that we achieved through a public-private partnership, there's still a significant cost to our residents. Our community has a median household income that's 26% lower than our neighboring communities in the 7-county MSA, and critical infrastructure such as this is felt heavily by the residents. So we're bringing this request forward in hope that we can lessen that impact. And we thank you, Chair Ress, for hearing this request, and we hope that you'll consider us as you work through this session over the next few months. Thank you.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, thank you very much, Senator Kunesh and City Manager. And the bill will be laid over for consideration in the omnibus tax bill.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next bill on consideration is Senate File 5, Senator Utke. Members, there is a starting a chart in your folders of the sales tax exemptions for local governments in particular that we're hearing, and we're going to have a running total of what the hit would be on the general fund. Just to give us an idea of what all these means, and some of them are more cost more than others, and so of course the sales tax is also proportionately larger. Senator Utke, yours is kind of right in the middle. So we welcome you to the committee. If you would explain your bill to us, and I don't believe you have an amendment, so go right ahead for the Browerville Public Schools.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair and members. Yeah, we have, as it was mentioned, Senate File 5, which you guys will probably, if you all were on this committee last year, would be familiar with it. We introduced it, heard it, and it just, due to the circumstances at the end of session, we didn't make it across the finish line. So here we are today. This is a bill that supports the Browerville Public Schools. It's a construction sales tax exemption to assist the district after the emergency gymnasium collapse that occurred on April 1st, 2023. It was the ultimate April Fool's joke that went bad for them, where heavy snow created the collapse of their roof on their gymnasium, and then has led to this construction project to rebuild. And you'll notice that we've changed the dates because the project, being a school, they had to get engaged and get this project going. And so the project is in process, and hearing great things as far as its progress and nearing completion by hopefully the start of the next school year. But with that, Madam Chair, we're talking about the sales tax exemption today, and I would like to turn this over to the Superintendent of Schools, Scott Vedbraten, who will just tell you a little bit more about what this exemption's for.
Thank you, Senator Utke. We're going to look at the language of the bill at first and see if there are any questions. But noting that on line 110, line 111, that the period of purchasing is after December 1st of 2023, as you just explained, and then will continue until before January 1st of 2026. Lines 112 and 13 explain what the costs are, renovations to the actual school building. It is a pre-K through 12 school building, and then line 113 and 114 constructing a new gymnasium, classrooms, locker rooms, wrestling and weight rooms, offices, and stage. And perhaps, Superintendent, you can fill us in on how much progress has been made. So at this point, I welcome the Superintendent of the Browerville Public Schools. If you'd identify yourself for the record, we welcome your testimony.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the Tax Committee. My name is Scott Fedbratton. I'm the Superintendent of Browerville Public Schools. And also thank you, Senator Utke, for sponsoring Senate File number 5. As Senator Utke said, you know, April Fools, and I can't, what I want to say to my track coach when he called me on that afternoon when he walked into my gym and said that the roof was sagging. And 22 hours later, it was on the ground. And if you turn the document over that I sent to you, that was the remains of the building 22 hours later. So from that to where it is now, I actually should have sent you some pictures of where it is now. The building is probably about halfway standing. The roof is on the stage portion and on the special ed addition and on the student lounge portion. And we have actually taken control of this special ed and the student lounge portion as of Monday morning. So that was excellent. We actually have moved into that portion of the building. Completion of the building is set for still September 1, so that we will move into that facility at the beginning of the 2025-26 school year. And that has been the plan all along. The contingencies are what will be what draws out the project a little bit to make sure that everything is finished. That is what brings it through 2025. The total cost of the project, $21 million. We were only given $5 million by insurance of the cost of the $21 million. The district had to bond for the other $16 million. And that is why we're here. We're asking for a little bit of help for the basically $500,000 in sales tax relief. We had originally came to both the House and the Senate for some bonding, and we fully understand that, you know, that's probably never going to happen. And that has went by the wayside in the last, biennium. So we're here asking for you for a little bit of forgiveness in sales tax, and we'd really appreciate your guys' assistance. And I'm open for any questions that you have.
Any questions for Senator Utke or his witness? Seeing none, Senate File 5 will be laid over for consideration in the omnibus tax bill.
Thank you.
The next item is a report from the Department of Revenue of the solid waste management tax. The report that we're going to be looking at is dated in August. At the end of this month, there's going to be a new report, but we also understand that there is no anticipation that the report will be materially different. So we're going ahead this morning with the report that was issued in August. That's in your folders. And then following that, we will hear a proposal from Senator Dibble on score grants. So welcome to the committee. If you'd identify yourself for the record.
Thank you, Chair Rest, members of the committee. For the record, my name is Stephen Diaz. I'm the Director of the Special Taxes Division at the Minnesota Department of Revenue. Thanks for the opportunity to share on the solid waste management tax report. I know that the report is very short, And so my comments will also be very short as well. But I do want to give a little bit of background and context so that we're all on the same page. As Senator Rest mentioned, we are working off of the August 24 report. We're currently finalizing the February 25 report, but that's not quite ready for prime time yet. So other important context, the solid waste management tax is administered by the Department of Revenue, and the funds are allocated according to statute. And the solid waste management programs, including grants, are administered by the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency. So who pays the tax? The solid waste management tax applies to service providers for both mixed municipal and non-mixed municipal solid wastes. The tax rate depends on the type of waste and who generated the waste. And waste management service providers are responsible for collecting and sending the solid waste management tax to the Department of Revenue. A provider is anyone who directly bills a waste generator or a customer. In the case of the customers for their waste management services, common providers include waste haulers, waste management facilities such as incinerators, transfer stations, and landfills, and local government units. And the mixed municipal solid waste is garbage, refuse, and other solid waste from residential, commercial, and community activities. Those are lines 102 and 103 on the August 2024 report. And the tax is based on the sales price that is charged by the provider and the type of customer, so the customer who's generating the waste. And sales price is the total of all the charges and fees for the service, whether they're billed separately or together. And examples include collection, transportation, processing, disposal, and administrative fees, fuel surcharges, and fees for things such as bags and stickers that are provided to the customer. And the rates range from 9.75 to 17%. For non-mixed municipal solid waste, which is line 104 in the report, these are wastes from construction, demolition, industrial debris, infectious debris, pathological waste material that's collected separately and processed and disposed separately in a mix from the mixed municipal waste stream. And this tax is based on the volume of the container or the capacity, as well as potentially the weight of the waste that's generated. There are a number of exemptions and exclusions on certain wastes and fees. Examples include things, fees from federal agencies, some of the fees provided by or provided to local governments and landfill programs, organic waste that is separated from the waste stream in specialized containers and disposed at a qualified facility, some recyclable materials, and then mixed solid waste from a recycling facility that reduces the total volume of the waste by at least 85%. Annual collections are consistent over time, consistent with inflation and increased cost of operation. We're currently at about $120 million per year. And as the cost of waste services go up, the tax collection follows. Historically, through fiscal '23, 70% of that tax collection was credited to the Environmental Fund, which is administered by the Pollution Control Agency, and the remainder is deposited into the General Fund. This allocation model was changed during the 2023 legislative session, and beginning in fiscal '24, 70% is credited to the Environmental Fund, 3% is deposited into the Resource Management account in the Environmental Fund, and the remaining is deposited into the General Fund. As I said, a brief report and brief overview. I stand for any questions.
Any questions? In the chart, the variation that's there from month to month, is that just to be expected? Does that look like that every year in those months that either, from March to April goes down $500,000 and then shoots right back up again? Is there anything to explain that, or it's just chance?
Thank you, Chair Rest. So there's a number of things that really can account for variation. One, filers file on a monthly, quarterly, or annual basis based on the size of their business, so that can result in variation. And then some of these waste streams also have a seasonality to them. So a heavier construction season is going to generate different waste in different categories here. So those two things, I think, account for variation that we see.
So the variations are all, in a sense, expected and not surprising.
Chair Rest, that is correct.
Thank you. Any other questions for the testifier, Mr. Diaz? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sir. Senator Dibble. Senator Dibble brings us Senate File 1082, the score grant, or a favorite topic of Senator Dibble, and as well as some of the rest of us. And you'll note in your packets that there are any number of statements made by various organizations addressed to all of us about the score funding legislation. So Senator Dibble, if you would, it's not a very long bill, but it is, it makes some very important points in it. And if you would explain, particularly, I mean, the meat of the bill is lines 114 through 117. If you would explain what is your purpose behind making these percent changes? Senator Dibble.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for the opportunity to present Senate File number 1082. Thank you as well to my co-authors, Senators Eichhorn, Herr, Weber, and yourself, Madam Chair. And just very quickly, the goal of the bill, you just heard the presentation on the solid waste management tax. So you heard that much of the tax that's collected is placed into the general fund. And so the goal is to take that portion that currently goes to the general fund and direct it to the purposes of the SCORE program, which we'll hear about in just a moment. And it does that on a schedule. So moving it up from the 3% that currently goes to SCORE for the purposes of counties' SCORE programs and making SCORE grants and the like to municipalities. The schedule you can see on lines 1.14 through 17 in increasing amounts, starting with 7% up to 20%, and ultimately fully the 30% that's diverted into the general fund would come, well, the 27%, the entirety.
So how much is actually going to be line 117 going into the general fund?
So ultimately, Madam Chair, if you look at the revenue note, you can see the increasing amounts that move from the general fund over to SCORE purposes. And so the amounts are increasing from about 5 million to 22 million to 36 million, ending at around 37 million per year.
Okay?
All right.
Does everybody see that? It's quite a, I think it's very important that it's quite a big jump. And then by 2029, it's at 36.8 million that will be in the general fund.
Yes, and I won't get into all the particulars of why SCORE is very important because I have people here who will articulate that much better
Do you
than
know
I
when
will.
when the SCORE program was established?
I
you know
have
what
that. I have that in my notes, but
Or maybe council can
it
tell
was
us?
it was a number of years ago, and it was established by a committee whose name was SCORE. I can't remember what SCORE stands for.
Maybe Ms. Pollack went? You don't?
Madam Chair, I don't know, but I will check.
Okay. I think it's interesting how long we've been
Yeah.
attempting to actually put more money into the SCORE grants than we've been able to do in.
I have a
in the
historical
past.
timeline, but I think I left it at my place. So I'll come back to it. Oh, we have an answer, Madam Chair. 1997.
1997, so it's a well-established program that has been continually underfunded.
And
Is that how
Madam
you would
Chair.
describe it?
Yeah, yes. And Madam Chair, just very, very quickly, the solid waste management tax was established for these purposes, some of which, going out to counties, local units of government for their solid waste management practices, recycling, et cetera. The most of it goes to the PCA, placed in the environmental fund, also for the same purposes. They have their own programs that are carried out at the state level. And so we're just returning the entirety of the solid waste management tax to its originally intended purpose, rather than just simply supplementing the general fund.
Okay. Any questions before we go to the witnesses from, for Senator Dibble? Seeing none, the first witness is Commissioner Rossman from Olmsted County.
Good morning.
Welcome to the committee. If you would identify yourself for the record.
Thank you, Chair Rest and members of the committee. I'm Michelle Rossman, an Olmsted County
And
Commissioner.
if you would move the microphone or as close to you and move forward to it.
Yes, thank you.
Much appreciated.
Good morning. I'm Michelle Rossman, an Olmsted County Commissioner. Thank you for this opportunity to testify today in support of Senate File 1082. In addition to being supported by Olmsted County, my comments today and those of my colleague, Commissioner Miron, are offered on behalf of the Association of Minnesota Counties, the Minnesota Intercounty Association, the Solid Waste Administrators Association, and the Partnership on Waste to Energy. These 4 organizations form a coalition of support for this effort. In addition, in your packet, you will find letters of support from Conservation Minnesota, the League of Minnesota Cities, Minnesota Rural Counties, City of Minneapolis, Minnesota Resource Recovery Association, and St. Louis County. I'll start with thanking the legislature for directing 3% of the solid waste management tax for use in managing our waste and keeping recyclables out of landfills as intended. This bill continues that work by shifting the remaining 27% of its planned purpose in meeting solid waste challenges and out of the general fund. Counties are committed to handling solid waste properly. We must develop systems, meet regulatory requirements, and operate complex facilities to meet our mandated responsibilities. The financial burden of operating these systems is always increasing. The Minnesota Waste Management Act reduces risk to public health and the environment by moving waste up the hierarchy. The law also has measures to ensure the safety of the people that work with waste and to address the risk of landfills. The state has spent over $500 million cleaning up landfills, and hundreds of millions are needed through 2050, not including the cost to clean up the Freeway landfill. These funds are collected through taxes or insurance costs, a financial burden that will never go away. In the early 80s, Olmsted County had a landfill listed as a Superfund cleanup site. There was growing concern that a drinking water aquifer could become contaminated because of the local karst terrain that makes our groundwater susceptible to contamination. Since then, the county has made concerted efforts to manage solid waste above ground rather than below it. Since the 1980s, Olmsted County has implemented an integrated solid waste management system that focuses on education and waste reduction, reuse and recycling, converting waste into energy for things like steam and electricity, and landfilling only as a last resort. Funding generated from the solid waste management tax has helped fund waste education and community outreach events, recycling initiatives, yard waste composting, and hazardous materials management. The funding helps us manage waste to protect public health and the environment, while also converting the waste to useful resources. The SCORE task force, created by the governor in 1988, recommended a tax based on the cost of trash, resulting in the solid waste management tax to help fund recycling-related programs. This task force recommended all tax revenues go to solid waste management. This is a user tax that now generates over $100 million annually, as we just heard, with 27% approximately $31.7 million going to the general fund where it isn't used for waste management purposes, and this should change. SCORE grants help counties meet their state-mandated recycling goals. SCORE funds recycling programs, the expansion of organics composting, efforts to reduce and reuse waste, and a robust drop-off system for problematic and toxic materials. Recycling costs keep increasing, and the lack of end markets creates instability. The reality is most of the costs are paid by local government. Senate File 1082 is one of many policy solutions that will support improvements to our waste management systems for more positive outcomes.
Good morning, Madam Chair.
Just a minute,
members.
please. Are there any questions for the witness? Seeing none, our next, the next person I have is Washington County Chair. Is that you, sir?
Madam Chair, good morning.
I mean, you can just asking a question.
I'm not the chair of the board. I chair the Partnership on Waste Energy, but I am a member of the Washington County Board.
Yes, okay. I'm sorry, I was reading it wrong. It's, you're a commissioner, Washington County, and then chair of this partnership. Welcome to the committee, if you'd identify yourself for the record.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. My name is Fran Muron, and as was pointed out, I serve on the Washington County Board of Commissioners. I chair the Partnership on Waste Energy. I also serve on the board of the Minnesota Inter-County Association, and Washington County is a member of the Association of Minnesota Counties, which all support this bill. I'm pleased to be here along with Homestead County Commissioner Rossman. While solid waste management is carried out by a network of public and private entities, the state holds only counties responsible for meeting the state mandates. Despite this, less than 20% of the solid waste management tax revenues are allocated to SCORE grants to fund recycling and reuse programs. Washington County uses the SCORE funding to manage our yard and wood waste operations, run our north and south environmental centers, where residents bring recyclables, chemicals, electronics, food scraps, and other items that shouldn't be in the trash. And we use funds to host clinics and swap events for residents to reuse items. These efforts have been very popular with our residents. We had nearly 60,000 visitors at our South Environmental Center alone in 2024 and returned an estimated $1.5 million of reuse product value to community households through our reuse rooms and swap events. That's more than the amount we received in SCORE funding. But we also hear from our residents and municipal partners that there are items people still can't get rid of that shouldn't be in the trash, and they need more of these services to make the behavior changes needed to reach our waste management and diversion goals. The graph before you shows how counties in Minnesota have continually stepped forward to fund programs required by the state, while the state's contribution has remained relatively steady. The slide underestimates the local effort because it doesn't show the additional costs paid by cities for recycling-related services, which add many more millions of dollars. Counties have had to piece together many funding tools to meet mandates due to inadequate SCORE grant allocations. Counties use a waste tax assessment, landfill fees, service charges, revenue from material sales, and even property tax revenue. Counties are doing their best to make it work, but costs continue to increase and funding falls short of the need. In 2022, Minnesota counties diverted over 2.7 million tons of waste to recycling and organic programs, but more can and must be done. The resources we currently have are not adequate to meet state goals. We are losing out on opportunities because of limited resources, and additional SCORE dollars are needed to meet ever-increasing unmet waste challenges. Passage of Senate File 1082 to increase SCORE is truly an investment in Minnesota. The recycling industry employs over 78,000 Minnesotans and has an estimated $23.9 billion economic impact. Developing local recycling markets keeps resources, jobs, and businesses here in Minnesota. We recently passed over 6 million tons of waste generated in our state annually, and now is the time to help us move closer to our goal of zero waste. Counties in Minnesota respectfully request that the legislature pass Senate File 1082 to fund recycling programs at counties and use the solid waste management tax for its original intended purpose, which is to solve our ever-increasing solid waste management challenges. I'm happy to take any questions along with Commissioner Rossman here that you might have.
Thank you very much. Are there questions for Commissioner Marin? Seeing none. Senator Dibble, now that the House has decided to recognize itself as being organized, we'll wait for public reaction to that declaration, but do you have a companion to this bill in the House? And could you just share what that House file number is, if you do?
Yes, my phone a
Or
friend tells me.
contemplating it, at least.
Yeah. So I don't know the answer. Sorry, I had someone in my ear. I do know there is an author in the House, Representative Wayne Johnson. Was the second part of your question whether they're moving the bill?
No, I just wanted to know if there was, I was going to write down who the House author was.
Yeah, Wayne
Whether it was a
Johnson.
member of the
Right.
tax committee over there or
Member of the tax
who. Yeah, okay, I understand there's no companion yet, but we will be tracking that as we develop the Senate omnibus bill.
Great.
Any further discussion, or Senator Nelson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just one question for Commissioner Rossman. Speaking of the cost of solid waste and the environmental concerns, and that's why I'm so supportive of this bill, I'm just wondering if you can give the committee any indication of the challenges that Olmsted County is having with solid waste, and how this bill, how this additional funding, moving it from 3% to 7% of the resource management, how that could help with managing solid waste. I think doing that, how that's happening in Olmsted County is probably likely, hopefully, what other counties are able to gain from this bill passage also.
Thank you for the question.
Commissioner Rossman.
Thank you for the question, Senator. Well, as I stated in
Commissioner Rossman, you have to address me first before you address.
my apologies, Madam Chair.
It's mostly for the record, okay?
Madam Chair, thank you. As stated in my comments, Southeast Minnesota has a lot of karst geology, so we must be attentive to what we're doing above ground to ensure that we are not doing anything to risk the quality of groundwater. And in doing so, we have an integrated waste to energy facility and solid waste management system in Olmsted County. We do our best to create and continue to evolve a system that moves everything coming into the system up the waste hierarchy: reduce, reuse, recycle. Right now, we are in the middle of envisioning a new materials recovery facility. Let's just focus on all the recyclable materials that come into our waste stream. A lot of dynamics around that. The first thing we need to do is educate consumers. It is their behavior and those of all of our behaviors, the decisions we make every day about the waste, what we buy, what we put into the waste stream, and how it's recycled, we need to manage that. The markets for recyclables are really unstable and volatile. So we are putting together a system so that when we collect those materials, we have room to store them so that if the market is low, we can take advantage of market cycles and have those stored, but then put them on the market when we can make more money for them. Consumer education is a constant challenge and something that we're committed to and something that we use SCORE funds for. How can we make consumers aware of their behavior, work on recycling, work on taking food waste. We have a pilot program right now for food waste. And we have consumers who have chosen to engage with that program and have bags that they can take their food waste out of the waste stream, bring it to the recycling facility, because that food waste, again, moving through our system, is really hard on our burners at our waste-to-energy facility. So it's really a dynamic, integrated, many-facet approach that we have to take in Olmsted County. And as that system continues to evolve, it's going to take a lot of funds to continue to do that into the future.
Thank you.
Senator Nelson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Commissioner Rossman.
Senator Dibble, when is the last time that we made changes in the statutorily in the SCORE grants?
Madam Chair, I think you helped with a little bit of a change in the 2023 bill. So you've been a supporter, and we've been making little incremental progress over the years.
But
with-
it's been very slow.
Yes.
As I
yes,
recall.
Yes. So,
Am I correct?
very slow,
Very slow.
Yeah.
Okay.
but we
Come
keep
back.
on coming back.
Yeah, always come back. Some people with their bills, they say, we don't want to ever see you again. But not this one. So
So,
try to make some progress this year.
Madam Chair, if I could just,
Any other comments? What? Yeah, I'm going to. Senator Dibble, if you have a final comment.
sure, I just wanted to respond to the question from Senator Nelson.
Okay.
To the comments by the commissioner. I was actually down in Rochester. Were you on that trip? We visited the recycling facility, and so I can attest that it's quite a impressive facility, but they're kind of bursting at the seams. These gigantic bales of plastic and these big bricks of aluminum. It was pretty impressive. And so more of that would be welcome. I just wanted to mention just a couple of anecdotes. One is SCORE helps support the Hennepin County Fix-It clinics. I don't know if you've ever been to those, but you can bring your appliance there and get it fixed. They have all these old guys and women who know how to fix stuff.
And
You
they
know,
pop up
we used to
everywhere.
we used to fix our stuff instead of throwing it away and buying a new one. And so I had my mom's dehumidifier got fixed, and this guy solved an amazing problem. It was just incredible to watch. But they're kind of intermittent because the funding is unreliable, so I kind of regret that. And then just finally, today is my garbage pickup day. When I got home late last night after Senator Champion's town hall meeting, I took my garbage down, and we recently signed up for organics recycling. So between recycling and organic composting, the amount of trash in just the regular bin that will go to the garbage burner or the landfill was only one tiny bag, and that's what it is now every week, just one tiny bag. Everything else is either compostable or recycling. It's pretty impressive, and that's the kind of thing that SCORE can help support.
Okay. Anything further? Thank you very much, Senator Dibble. Senate File 1082 will be laid over for consideration in the omnibus bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members.
Returning to our sales tax exemption provisions, Senate File 66, Senator Limmer. I will note that we have been trying to hear bills that were in the tax bill last year, and Senator Limmer slipped one through on us. This is a new bill. We don't know how that happened, but we're trying very hard not to let that happen, but it happened anyway. But this is a bill dealing with the city of Maple Grove. It is Senate File 66. Also asking for an exemption refund. And if you would just explain in subdivision 1 of section 1, it's just one section, what the project is, and then we'll take a look at the revenue estimate.
Sure thing. Thank you, Madam Chair. As you mentioned, the bill is a sales tax exemption on construction materials for the city of Maple Grove. Section 1, Subdivision 1A of the bill would exempt the materials and supplies used in the construction of the Maple Grove Community Center from sales taxes purchased between March 21st, 24 and June 1st of 2029. Subdivision 1B provides that the funds be issued as a refund to the city. Subdivision 2 appropriates the resources to the Department of Revenue to issue that refund. I appreciate the policy of exempting local units of government from paying state sales tax, and this is very similar to the nonpartisan decisions in the past. For more detail, instead of Heidi Nelson being here, we have Mark Stephenson, the mayor of Maple Grove, to make a brief comment.
First, any questions for Senator Limmer or comments? On the ones that we're hearing today, this is by far the most expensive. Just note that. Otherwise, we'll hear from the mayor of Maple Grove. If you would identify yourself for the record, pleased to have your testimony.
Good morning, Chair Rest and members of the committee. My name is Mark Stephenson. I'm the mayor of Maple Grove. I want to extend my appreciation to Chair Rest for hearing Senate File 66 today, and to Senator Limmer for carrying this bill on behalf of our city. The city of Maple Grove is embarking on a renovation and expansion project for its community center, which opened to the public in 1997. The center has served the community well for nearly 30 years, hosting over 650,000 visitors annually. The facility is now in need of reinvestment, which will occur over the next 3 years. The city is requesting a sales tax exemption for this public facility project that serves as an asset to the entirety of the Northwest metro area. I thank you for your consideration of this request, and I can stand for any questions that you may have.
Senator Limmer, in the handout that the city provided, the way in which these estimates are done is getting information that is provided by the city to the Department of Revenue, and then the estimate comes after that. And the city has claimed that the exemption would only amount to 1.468 million, but the Department of Revenue sees that at 2.3 million, which is almost $1 million higher. So I just want you to know that the exemption, as far as we're concerned, from information provided by the city, we'll be going with the estimate given by the department. However, on occasion, information has been provided by a city or another local government ends up being incomplete, or it wasn't. There should have been other information provided or something, and so we occasionally find that kind of discrepancy. And I would encourage the city to look back at the information that they provided the department, because we would much rather see asking for a sales tax exemption of $1.5 million rather than $2.3 million. So if you would review that, and if you think that exemption that is provided on the revenue estimate needs to be adjusted, I hope you'll be in touch with the Department of Revenue. Are there any questions or comments for Mayor Gruenhagen or Senator Limmer?
Well, Madam Chair, my comments.
I'm asking for questions first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Any? I don't see any. So Senator Limmer, if you have some final comments.
I think my comments from the very beginning was appropriate to describe the bill. I don't think I need to
That's fine.
belabor it anymore.
We appreciate the brevity. So then, thank you very much, gentlemen, and Senate File Number 66 will be laid over for consideration in the omnibus
Thank
tax
you,
bill.
Madam Chair.
Thank you.
The next bill is Senate File 167, Senator Gruenhagen. And this one, too, got in a little bit extra in its bill because we really, really wanted only to hear bills that were identical to ones that went in the Senate tax bill last year. And and what they snuck in is the water treatment plant, which was not in your 2024 bill. And we do notice things like that. But Senator Gruenhagen, if you would explain your bill. And Senator Gruenhagen has a very interesting history with this committee. We have been trying for a few years to deal with the city of Stewart and its LGA, and tried to put it in early bills, tried to put it in, it's non-controversial, it's just forgiveness of the LGA penalty, very small amount. And we thought it was all ready. Everything was ready. And guess what happened? In the Senate this year, they sent his bill to state and local government. The House, and I need to acknowledge this, got it right and sent it to taxes where it belonged. But we have asked for a re-referral. I'm not going to go through one of those motions on the floor. I think they're a waste of time.
Okay.
Senator Gruenhagen, one way or the other, we are going to take care of Stewart,
Thank you.
no matter how we do it, even if we just add it as an amendment, if state and local government does not send the bill to us. But today, we have Watertown, and I see your co-author is Senator Coleman. So Senator Gruenhagen, if you would explain what the project is, and that's lines 111 through 114. We look forward to the testimony.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair and members, for hearing the bill, Senate File 167. I knew, Ann, that I wouldn't slip anything past you, so.
I'm,
Just appreciate-
outside in the hallway, you can call me anything you want, but in this committee, you have to call me Madam Chair.
Madam Chair. Okay, thanks for the correction. Anyway, thank you for hearing the bill, Madam Chair, and also members. As Section 1, Subdivision 1 exempts a water tower and wastewater treatment facility in Watertown from the state sales tax for materials and supplies for construction, reconstruction, upgrades, and renovations. Section 1, Subdivision 2 appropriates the resources to the Department of Revenue for a refund to the city of Watertown. After the effective date, note that the bill applies retroactively for purchases after February 28, 2022 through February 1, 2026. Madam Chair, Watertown is a small community of 4,700 people facing significant construction costs for large public projects. I have the Watertown mayor here to speak on this issue and the value that it would be on this bill, that it would be to the community of Watertown, if he would like to make comments.
Yes, excuse me.
Welcome to,
She has to
are there any questions, first of all, for Senator Gruenhagen? Seeing none, we have a couple of testifiers. And once again, I hope you'll be looking at the revenue estimate, which has different numbers, once again, of the cost of the project than what the revenue estimate is based on. But perhaps you can explain that difference. But do we have the mayor of Watertown?
Yes.
Sir, if you would identify yourself for the record, we're pleased to have your testimony.
Good morning, Madam Chair and honorable Senate members. I'm Michael Walters, the mayor of the city of Watertown. I want to thank you all for your time, and Senator Gruenhagen for his support and advocacy for our community. As a small community with large basic public infrastructure needs, we have come to you today to ask for your help by allowing state sales tax exemption for our 2 large public infrastructure projects. As you know, having one level of government pay taxes to another level of government for a public facility makes the project more burdensome to taxpayers. I respect that exempting our public projects from paying this tax means that you need to find money on the state side. I am hopeful you can find that our water infrastructure facilities are worthy of this important and needed exemption. Watertown needs these new facilities to meet tightening regulations and accommodate for our future growth. It is important to add that expanding these facilities was essential to our Watertown Fire Department as well, which services all the surrounding townships and assists in nearby cities in fire emergencies. I'm happy to take any questions. I have my Watertown City staff, city administrator with me, can detail anything out. Just want to say thank you so much for your service to our great state of Minnesota and giving me this opportunity to testify. I would like to make a real quick note. The bill that you're seeing before you, we noted sitting in here that the information from the Department of Revenue is missing the water tower costs that we testified last spring in front of you. This is the cost for the wastewater treatment facility. We will work offline with the Department of Revenue to get those figures corrected and submitted ASAP to your staff. But again, we had already testified and we had those figures. And when this was added, they just put the wastewater treatment facility. But just wanted to make that note. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer that.
According to the revenue estimate, both projects were in that estimate. So we may have to bring this bill back to make sure that the revenue estimate is based on accurate information from the city.
Madam Chair.
Are there questions or comments for Senator Gruenhagen or the mayor? Or do you have another witness?
He's just here for questions.
Okay,
Okay.
that's fine.
But,
Senator
Madam Chair, I
Gruenhagen.
do have a comment on the fiscal note. The Department of Revenue has been talked to about this, and they are going to review this and upgrade it for you. And
Okay.
make sure you get a copy.
We'll look forward to we know what the projects are that you're trying to cover here. We'll look forward to see what additional information the department will want if there's a need to update the revenue estimate. Anything else? Senator Gruenhagen, Senate File 167 will be laid over for consideration in the omnibus tax
Thank you,
bill.
Madam Chair and members.
Thank you again.
Thank you very much. Senator Dahms. And Senator Dahms, I understand that your testifiers are joining us on Zoom. Is that correct?
That is correct, Madam
Okay.
Chair.
But we'll start with an explanation of the bill. It is, again, 837. It is one that we have seen before. welcome back to the committee, Senator Dahms. If you
Well, thank
would explain what that project is, starting at lines 113 and going on and on, it turns out. But thanks for the detail.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair and members, and I'd like to thank the co-authors on this bill, Senator Weber and Senator Huffman. Senate File 837 is a Senate file that deals with the refunding of the sales and use tax for construction of 2 school districts in my district. The first one is Section 1 is the Canby Independent School District, and there is a list of a lot of the things that will be going on there. The gymnasium will have improved community access, career technical education space addition, HVAC upgrades, new 8-lane track, athletic field improvements and upgrades, stadium seating and press box renovations, a secure entrance upgrades for both schools with associated office relocations, renovation of the existing locker rooms, classroom renovations, site drainage, and other associated renovations. Section 2 is the Tracy Independent School District, and again requesting the refundable sales and use tax exemption for construction materials. A lot of the things that they'll be doing are similar to what was going on in Canby with some differences. So that would be the bill in a concise nutshell, Madam Chair.
Senator Dahms, for the Tracy School District lines, there's not nearly the detail, and that's okay. That is for the Canby School District. But what is the Tracy Kids World? What is that?
And
That's
Madam
on
Chair,
page 2, line 15.
Madam Chair, I would need to refer to the testifier.
Okay, all right.
From the Tracy School District.
Yeah, in his testimony, I hope he will immediately give us that information. Members have the revenue estimate in front of them. I'm hoping that you have, and your witnesses have reviewed it and make sure that the information that they provided is reflected in the explanation of the bill. So we will start with the testimony from the superintendent of the Tracy School District, Mr. Anderson.
Good morning. I just want to check first if you can hear me, Madam Chair.
Yes, we can hear you, and we just need you to identify yourself now by your name, please.
Okay, thank you. First, good morning to Madam Chair and everyone on the Senate Finance Committee, and thank you for your time this morning. My name is Chad Anderson, and I serve the superintendent as the superintendent of the Tracy Area Public School District, located in Senator Dahms District in Southwest Minnesota. I am also representing my colleague, Mr. Ryan Nielsen, who is the superintendent at Canby School District, seated to my left. And I greatly appreciate the work Senator Dahms and his authoring of Senate Finance Bill 0837. And as I heard your comment right away asking clarification on Tracy Kids World, Tracy Kids World is a building that's located directly next to our elementary school that is owned by the school district. And within that building, we house a daycare facility, a Head Start facility, and our preschool. And part of that renovation project that we needed to do for that facility was the exterior ephes was starting to deteriorate. And so we put on a beautiful new colored siding, steel siding on that, which will last for years to come. I'll pause there and ask
Is Kids World,
Is
that fee-based for the residents of your school district, sir?
That's correct. The district owns the facility. We lease out the daycare facility to what the Tracy Kids World organization. We haven't raised our prices on that for over 10 years since we started that. It's more of a service that we provide to make sure our students Our families have a place to attend, and then the Tracy Kids World organization charges our families.
And that is a private business within the school district?
That is correct.
I'm just curious. I'm just curious what the relationship is.
Yes.
Okay, you may continue with your testimony.
Thank you. So today I am here to urgently advocate for your support of the proposed school facility exemption from sales tax and use tax as proposed in Senate Finance Bill 0837, as the current landscape of the high material and labor costs is significantly impacting both of our students and our taxpayers. The Tracy area and Canby School District voter-approved facilities project has been greatly impacted by unprecedented construction inflation, lack of bidders in Southwest Minnesota, lack of workers in Southwest Minnesota, and extended timelines for receiving supplies. Tracy Area Public Schools and Canby Public Schools are both undergoing massive updates to the facilities, which Senator Dahms alluded to, such as HVAC, energy management systems, asbestos abatement, boilers, chiller replacements, air handler units, ductwork ventilation improvements, roof replacements, sewer piping, and others, just to name a few of the essential updates to our facilities. The financial strains, lack of workers, extended timelines all come with extra unforeseen costs to our district. Without your help, we may be required to make tough decisions on cutting projects, extending our timelines, or making even more reductions to staffing or programming that directly affect our children. Your passage of the tax exempt for goods and products will go a long way to help our students and our districts complete other important safety upgrades and school improvement projects, such as new doors, new locks, security cameras, and also additional relocation of offices so we can clearly see our front entrances. The proposed school facility exemption from sales tax and use offers a viable solution to alleviate many of these challenges. By providing a rebate on sales taxes related to facility improvements and construction, this initiative would enable us to prioritize essential projects that directly benefit our students and our taxpayers. The Tracy area and Canby school districts are requesting legislative support on Senate Finance Bill 0837 that would allow for state sales tax exemption and refund on materials and supplies used to help complete our voter-approved school improvement projects. The legislature has approved this request by school districts in the past and has stepped in when other unforeseen disasters have impacted the usability of our school buildings. Today's school districts that passed bond referenda in the years of 22, 23, and 24 are faced with a new and serious challenge in their efforts to improve the quality and durability of their local schools during unprecedented construction inflation. Thank you very much for your time. If you have any questions, you may contact me, Chad Anderson, or my colleague, Ryan Nielsen. Thank you.
Are there any questions for Superintendent Anderson? Seeing none, we'll hear from Superintendent Ryan Nielsen. He is also on Zoom.
Good morning, Madam Chair. I just want to take time to thank you for listening to us this morning. I don't have a lot to add. Dr. Anderson did a nice job.
Sir, you just need to identify yourself.
Oh, sorry. My name
for
is
the record.
Ryan Nielsen, Superintendent of Canby Public Schools.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. And I don't need to add a lot. Dr. Anderson did a nice job explaining the projects in detail. The biggest impact is the construction inflation and the lack of bidders that we had in our project. We had an extremely tough time getting people to bid on our project, what really drove up the costs. And this bill would greatly help us complete everything we wanted to complete in our project. And we're very thankful for you listening to us this morning. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Superintendent Nielsen? Seeing none, Senator Dahms, did you have any final comment you'd like to make?
Well, thank you, Madam Chair and members. We appreciate the opportunity to have the bill heard today. And as you heard from the testifiers, this would really help, would really help with relief on their projects. And so thank you very much, Madam Chair and members.
You're welcome. And Senate File 837 I will note that, as Senator Dahms did at the beginning, his co-authors are Senators Weber and Hoff. Senate File 837 will be laid over for consideration in the omnibus tax bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Last, we have Senator Farnsworth. Is he here? Oh, there he is. Who brings us Senate File 972. And Senator Farnsworth, on his behalf, Senator Klein offers the A1 amendment, which is updating the effective dates, or the dates referencing when the purchases need to be made. All those in favor of the A1 amendment, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. The motion prevails, and the A1 amendment is adopted. Senator Farnsworth, to your bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee. Thank you for your consideration of Senate File 972, which would provide a sales tax exemption to Itasca County for the construction materials used for the new government center. The bill was included in last year's Senate version of the omnibus, actually the last 2 years of the Senate version of the omnibus, and didn't quite make it through conference. This bill would maximize taxpayer dollars in the delivery of the project that is providing essential modernization upgrades to the county's courthouse and administration facilities. With me today to testify in support of this bill is Itasca County Commissioner John Johnson.
Okay, as people have the bill in front of us, again, the project itself is explained in lines 1.7 and 1.8, and it's dealing with the remodeling of the Itasca County Government Center, correct?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Anything, questions for Senator Farnsworth before we hear from Commissioner from Itasca County? Seeing none, Commissioner Johnson, if you would identify yourself for the record, we're pleased to have your testimony.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee. My name is Commissioner John Johnson, and I serve District 3 of Itasca County. And I appreciate the opportunity to testify before you today. The county is in the process of remodeling and modernizing our courthouse facilities to bring them up to full ADA compliance, improve the safety and efficiency of our court services, and also to provide a greater range of services, such as services for victims of crimes. The new construction focuses on some key elements of safety and accessibility that were sorely lacking in our former facility. These include bringing all of our judicial facilities up to full ADA compliance, providing enhanced support for victims of crimes by providing safe rooms for the victims to view court proceedings if they wish, as well as a new victims assistance room, which was built in a partnership with the Karen Strufert Peace and Safety Fund. The new facility also enhances our ability to provide improved access to mental health services and an expansion of programming space and classrooms for volunteerism and reentry programs. In total, the exemption in this bill is to provide around $470,000 in savings to the Itasca County taxpayers, which is a significant savings in our county as compared to our annual levy. Thank you, Madam Chair, for this opportunity, and I'll stand for any questions that you or the committee may have.
Thank you, Commissioner and Senator Farnsworth. It's a little bit unusual that the sales tax exemption that is being asked for is just these material costs rather than other construction costs as well. But it's also very nice that the document provided by Itasca County matches the information that is on the Department of Revenue's revenue estimate. So I appreciate that, Senator Farnsworth and Commissioner. Are there questions or comments for Senator Farnsworth or his testifier this morning? Seeing none, Senate File 972 as amended, Senator Farnsworth, will be laid over for consideration in the omnibus tax bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Members, we will be meeting tomorrow. We have further sales tax exemption requests. I hope that when we do hear these bills, that you'll be looking at the revenue estimate, just checking back and forth that the information that is being provided by these local governments has all been caught by the Department of Revenue as it prepares the estimates. It is, these are not huge numbers, but there really is a lot of information that has to be gotten from the local governments, which is why it takes a bit of time to prepare accurate revenue estimates that actually reflect what the proposal is. Any other announcements or anything? There being no further business before the committee, we're adjourned.